I'm Ayhan Irfanoglu, a professor and associate head of the Lyles School of Civil Engineering at Purdue University. What we should do, and we engineers do in earthquake engineering, we try to design structures to save lives, and that requires a certain attention, a certain detailing. It's an art, but we also need to save the buildings. I mean, really, if you save the buildings, you save the people. And then when you save the buildings, what I mean by that is you have to save the property, because this is a major part of the livelihood of their, you have a home, a place to call home. So many of these people are now homeless, unfortunately. They won't be allowed to go back in. They can't go back in. This fault, this earthquake, the magnitude is so large and the motions are so intense. I mean, we are talking about motions in the order of 3-5 feet per second, or even 6 to maybe 7 feet per second. They're so intense that I don't think that we have experienced such earthquakes in, at least at the high end, in urban areas. So, and it's supposed to be a very rare event and clearly very high consequences. Engineers, in designing against earthquakes, we design against these rare events. We try to avoid the high consequences. Well, in this case, it happened, and the sequential and the large fault rupture, I think it kind of tested, and probably we'll have to revise our understanding about these so-called rare events. And I'm not sure we should call them rare events, because that gives a false sense of risk taking or low risk. I don't think that's the case. Many teams are working in the field, from domestic teams right now, inspecting and assessing these buildings, and some of them need to be demolished. So some of that information will become available, so we can check whether this was an issue of a design, or let's say adherence, or meeting the design requirements, or the motions were really beyond what they were designed for. So, or in some cases, actually, some buildings survived, and we don't really know why they survived yet, whether they did something particularly well, or additional, beyond the code minimums, or whatever it is. Maybe they were just lucky. That needs to be inspected. You can only decide on those things based on data from the field. So I came here as an engineer, and of course I'm Turkish by birth, and by culture, by affiliation. So it is very difficult. Actually, the hardest town that hit, I spent the first 5 years of my life pretty close to that town, and the town of Iskenderun. So it, when I was walking around, I actually remembered things from 45 years ago that I had forgotten. A particular monument that is very spectacular monument of Atatürk, with a very bright red flag, that it just hit me. But I'm here as really to help the people, and really share what I know, what I see with my colleagues, and there are some excellent engineers in Turkey.